Mohammed Kudus and joining Spurs, more on the Morgan Gibbs White saga, Yoanne Wissa wants to leave Brentford, an in-depth report from the BBC about Spurs, Yves Bissouma wanted by Fenerbahce, Douglas Luiz wants to join Tottenham, Son back in training and a new under-18 intake. It's never a dull moment at Tottenham. Welcome to the latest edition of Tottenham News. Welcome back to the channel and another edition of Tottenham News. My name is Craig and I'll be going through all the latest news, rumours and reports. If you're watching on YouTube and are not already a subscriber to the channel, please consider doing so. It really helps us out. Like, share and comment below. And if you're listening on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. And if I can ask one more thing, if you have a spare moment, please vote for the channel at the Football Content Awards 2025. All of the details are below. Okay, so first bit of news, Mohammed Kudus has been talking about joining Spurs. He says, "It feels great to be here. I'm very happy and I can't wait to start. I'm a very direct winger, strong, very good in taking players on and creating chances. So there is a lot of flair in my game. I like to entertain the fans as well." That's what football is about. It's about putting memory in the heads of fans that they have when they go back home and after the money they've spent to buy a ticket. Although there is a lot of seriousness and competitiveness in the game, I still think it's a sport I try to enjoy as much as I can and give to the fans something to enjoy too. I hope the fans are going to really enjoy what I'm going to bring to the team here. One of the most important parts of why I came here is the project and how the manager sees it, and to develop under him. With the history of where he's come from, I've seen that the amount of talent he's developed to become great players is a big sign of why I wanted to work under him as well. I'm very team orientated, so my personal goals are around helping the team get as many points as we can, to be as high as we can in the Premier League and perform really well and go as far as we can in the Champions League. I know how big the club is, the history, and I've always wanted to play at the highest level in the Champions League as well. So it's a big moment for me. I think the Champions League is one of the biggest stages in football. I've played a couple of games at Ajax, so I have a bit of history and I know it's top level football and it requires a lot of quality and focus throughout the whole game. So I'm just hoping to use my individual ability to help the team and go as far as we possibly can. Fabrizio Romano on what is Tottenham's transfer priority after Kudus and hopefully Gibbs White. He said, "They can add a midfielder too, but for now their focus is on sealing all the details with Gibbs White. There will be nothing more this week." Now, it was widely reported on Thursday that Gibbs White would be having a medical at Spurs on Friday, but Sky Sports broke the news that Nottingham Forest consider the deal to take Gibbs White to Spurs is currently off. Forest consulting their lawyers over what they believe is an illegal approach. They never gave permission for talks and have cut all comms with Spurs. Unlikely they can block it, but definitely delayed. Fabrizio Romano then stated on X that Nottingham Forest prepare a complaint to the Premier League for Morgan Gibbs White's move to Tottenham. Forest are working on potential legal action as they believe Spurs made an illegal approach for the player. And then Michael Bridge also stated on Sky, Nottingham Forest believe there has been also a breach of confidentiality around Gibbs White's release clause, as Tottenham's bid was pitched at exactly that level. And TalkSport understands that Forest are considering legal action over perceived illegal approach from Spurs again. So that's mentioned twice now. Sources close to Forest say owner Evangelos Marinakis is furious with how Gibbs White's potential transfer has arisen. Forest say they never gave Spurs permission to hold talks with the 25-year-old midfielder. They are also suspicious, again, over the breach of confidentiality regarding his £60 million release clause. And the Times have also stated on this that Spurs have not had any communication that legal action has been taken against them and have declined to comment on Nottingham Forest's reported claims. Morgan Gibbs White wants a fresh challenge and wants that under boss Thomas Frank. And the latest on the Morgan Gibbs White saga here from Football.London, who report that the belief at this stage, however, is that Spurs still want to proceed with the deal, but a delay is now very likely. It is unclear at this time whether Forest could block the transfer completely, but there is a feeling within the Midlands club that they could be powerless to stop the transfer should Spurs do it all through the proper channels. TalkSport state that Yoanne Wissa is pushing to leave Brentford this summer. The Bees have rejected an offer already from Nottingham Forest for Whissa, but talks between the two clubs are ongoing. Tottenham are also plotting a move for Whissa, and the Congo international is keen to reunite with Thomas Frank. Newcastle are another club keeping tabs on the 28-year-old, who scored 19 Premier League goals last season. Brentford have slapped a £50 million price tag on Whissa, but interested parties believe they can be negotiated down. BBC Sports say in the last 48 hours or so seem to have been very un-Tottenham-like. Preparing to commit 115 million on Mohammed Kudus and Morgan Gibbs White isn't behaviour you'd necessarily associate with Spurs in the Daniel Levy era. The feeling, or general feeling around Tottenham and their transfer market spending in recent years has been one of frugality, although those at Spurs would be quick to point out they did spend £55 million on Dominic Solanke last season in a deal that could eventually become £65 million. Yet you can't escape the sense that the previous couple of days represents a change in narrative. If Gibbs White's £60 million signing from Forest goes through after some late legal issues, it will be the biggest initial fee paid by the club ever. Tottenham remain hopeful the deal will be completed despite Forest looking at whether a confidentiality agreement in the player's contract had been breached. It is also understood the club are claiming Spurs haven't asked permission to speak to the player. Heading into the summer transfer window, well-placed sources indicated the club would be limited in the amount they would be able to spend, but the capture of Kudus for £55 million and the potential arrival of Gibbs White for £60 million flies in the face of any such restrictions. So what's changed? It is no secret Tottenham chairman Daniel Levy has been canvassing for external investment into the club in recent months. However, BBC Sport understands the current spending on transfers is more likely to be the result of an injection of cash from owners ENIC, who are understood to have kept a closer eye on the club's operations in recent months rather than any external investment. There has been talk of overseas investment, particularly from the Middle East. For fans, of course, the source of the finances is neither here nor there. All they really care about is the assembling of a team that can challenge and eventually challenge for a title and qualify consistently for the Champions League. In Kudus and Gibbs White, they would have two players capable of helping fulfil supporters' wishes. Both are flair players that live up to Tottenham's attacking traditions and crucially are players who have Premier League experience. Indeed, that was the remit for the club's recruitment team this summer. The squad is already packed full of exciting young potential, but experience is what new boss Thomas Frank believes it needs. While Kudus and Gibbs White are relatively young, 24 and 25 respectively, they are well versed in the rigours of England's top flight. Kudus had 2 full seasons for West Ham under his belt, making 80 appearances across all competitions, while Gibbs White has played in the last 3 Premier League campaigns for Forest and had prior experience while a teenager at Wolves. Spurs' interest in Brentford duo Yoanne Wissa and Bryan Mbeumo is further illustration of Tottenham's recruitment remit. BBC Sport continue. Unusual big money deals are continuing a trend. The Gibbs White deal, if it goes through, would take Tottenham's summer transfer spending to 170 million in initial fees, including the permanent signings of Matisse Tau and Kevin Danso after loan spells last season. That kind of outlay may feel atypical to some supporters, but it actually continues a recent trend of heavy spending by the club. They were among the Premier League's top 5 highest spenders in each of the previous 3 summers, including a 290 million splurge on 8 players in 2023, shortly after Ange Postecoglou was appointed head coach. That figure was partially offset by Harry Kane's £86.5 million move to Bayern Munich. It's true to say, though, Spurs don't often spend as much on any individual player as they are hoping to this week. Gibbs White would be only the 5th 50 million plus signing in their history, just a day or so after Kudus became the 4th. The sums being spent now are certainly a far cry from 2018, when the club became the first in Premier League history not to sign a single player during a summer transfer window. And BBC Sport continue, plenty of attacking options, but how will it work? Gibbs White's creativity is not in doubt. Just ask Nottingham Forest. Thriving in the number 10 role for his club under Nuno Espirito Santo, he made his England debut last September and contributed 7 top-flight goals and 8 assists as Forest improved by 10 places on their finishing position in 2024. He is the club's only player to reach double figures for combined goals and assists in 3 consecutive Premier League seasons. Last season, the 25-year-old was involved in 148 attacks that led to an attempt on goal in the Premier League, either through him taking a shot, creating a chance, or being involved in the build-up. None of his teammates came close to matching that tally. New Spurs head coach Frank will have an abundance of options to play as a central attacking midfielder, with Kudus' preferred position as a number 10, despite typically playing out wide for West Ham. Tottenham, of course, already had James Maddison and Dejan Kulusevski in the building for that role, although all 4 players are versatile. Across their Premier League careers, it's Maddison who fares the best at 90 minutes in terms of goals, assists, shots on target, chances created, through balls and passes played into the opposition penalty area. Swede Kulusevski ranks highest for the chances created from open play, and also after he's carried the ball a distance of at least 5 metres. In short, it remains to be seen how much of an upgrade, if at all, Tottenham's 2 latest signings would prove to be if given the opportunity in that position. And again, another report from BBC Sport, they ask, are defensive reinforcements still needed? Well, Spurs' current squad is stacked with attack: Kudus, Maddison, Kulusevski, Odegaard, Solomon and Brennan Johnson. But Frank's reported interest in Christian Nordgaard before he signed for Arsenal from Brentford suggests they are also looking for defensive reinforcements in midfield. They may well be needed. Only the 3 relegated teams conceded a higher tally of expected goals than Spurs last season, while they also ranked 4th overall for errors leading to shots, 41. The Telegraph report that Tottenham Hotspur's summer spending has prompted claims the club are closing in on an investment package that could include a naming rights deal for their £1 billion stadium. Having already committed to spending £115 million on new signings in Mohammed Kudus and, if it gets there, Morgan Gibbs White, Tottenham remain in the market for a midfielder and possibly another forward. There will be sales, with midfielder Yves Bissouma expected to be one high-profile casualty of the new era under head coach Thomas Frank, but Tottenham's early moves have prompted claims that investment into the club is incoming. Well-placed sources have told the Telegraph Sport that Spurs are working towards clinching a lucrative naming rights deal for the stadium 6 years since its opening, with others adamant that funds either from owners ENIC or outside investment will be pumped into the club. It is unclear whether an agreement over stadium naming rights is close, and Tottenham declined to comment on commercial matters when contacted by Telegraph Sport. Spurs, though, denied talks that had been held with Nvidia, the world's most valuable company, after the AI and technology business declined to comment on claims they were interested in investing in the London club. A Saudi Arabian entity are frontrunners to secure the naming rights at Tottenham Stadium, TalkSport understands. The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium has remained without such brand association since it opened in April 2019. However, Spurs are understood to be close to finalising a deal, with advanced talks taking place. Deal makers have proposed 2 companies, one subsidiary of PIF, the Saudi Public Investment Fund, and a second unaffiliated company. Legalities are currently being explored in order to avoid conflict with Newcastle, where PIF own an 85% stake. Nothing is yet to be guaranteed, and Spurs have also been in contact with American companies, but discussions are advanced and senior government officials have also been involved. The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium boasts the second highest capacity in the Premier League with 62,850. Only Manchester United's Old Trafford boasts a larger capacity at 74,197. Spurs home ground is also a multi-purpose venue that hosts NFL games and concerts, as well as rugby matches and boxing events. The North London side could become one of 7 clubs to have stadium naming rights in the 25-26 Premier League season. Rivals Arsenal and Manchester City are the most notable examples, with their respective Emirates Stadium and Etihad stadiums. These negotiations come amid a summer spending spree on the first team following the Europa League success in May. On Thursday, Spurs announced a £55 million signing of Mohammed Kudus from West Ham. His move has followed the permanent arrivals of Matisse Tell and Kevin Danso following their loan spells during the 2024-25 campaign. Luka Vuskovic and Kota Takai have also joined the club, with their spending sitting at around £122 million so far. Reports in Turkey and representatives from Fenerbahce are in London to seal a deal to sign Spurs midfielder Yves Bissouma for around €20 million. Give Me Sport report that Tottenham Hotspur have been given a boost with the news that Juventus midfielder Douglas Luiz wants to join the club during the summer transfer window, and that's according to TBR Football. It's been a busy few days for Spurs in the market after they followed up the signing of Mohammed Kudus from rivals West Ham United by agreeing a deal from Morgan Gibbs White, possibly of Nottingham Forest, although the East Midlands club are accusing the North London outfit of an illegal approach. These 2 potential signings look to just be the beginning for new manager Thomas Frank, who is also keen to land a central midfielder in coming weeks. Son Heung-min is now back in Hotspur Way for the start of pre-season training. The Reading game is now just 8 days away. And finally, Tottenham Hotspur has announced the first group of 10 young players joining the under-18 squad as full-time first-year scholars this summer. The intake includes standout midfielder Luca Williams-Barnett alongside Cameron Thomas, Armind Muslika and forward Oliver Salter. In defence, Junai Byfield, Tyler Tingy, Ezra Agyekum and Kenyon Hansen have joined, with goalkeepers Blake Euro and new arrival Farron Doran completing the group. All players have started pre-season training at Hotspur Way, with more scholarship announcements to follow. Academy head of coaching Joe Staunton welcomed the players, praising their readiness and commitment as they began this key stage of their development. Well, here's my thoughts on all those stories today. Firstly, Mohammed Kudus speaking as he joins Tottenham. There's a lot of stuff going on at Spurs at the moment. There always is. Never a dull moment. But getting Kudus over the line, I think this is a real statement of intent from the club, to be honest with you. Kudus can hit the ground running. He's got Premier League experience and he can dribble with the ball really, really well. And he's quick, he's strong. I think this is going to be a really good signing for the club. Kudus impressed me certainly in his first season at West Ham. Last season wasn't so good, but I think there's definitely progression there for him, and it can be made at Tottenham. I think he will be he's challenging for a first team slot, right? He's not just a squad player. I think that's the main thing for me. That's the sort of players we need through the door, not just players who make up the squad. Yes, of course, we need youngsters to come in, and that is the club's model. But the club have I wouldn't say they've listened to the fans, but they've obviously seen what we need, and we're actually seeing that. And hopefully, and coming on to the second point here, the Morgan Gibbs White signing, hopefully we can get many more of these types of players in this window, because that's exactly what we need. And coming on to Morgan Gibbs White, this is a saga, isn't it? It's never easy, never straightforward with Tottenham. This thing about the club made an illegal approach, obviously Tottenham is just denying that and staying quiet at the moment. Obviously, there has been some leaks there. I don't know what exactly the transfer this fee was to trigger it. They're saying around 60 million. It could have been something like 60 million and £1, and Spurs have bid that. Who knows? But somebody's leaked this. Now, in that sort of situation, you think it's either the player or most probably the agent has told somebody at Tottenham that. This does go on all the time, and I think this is Forest just probably digging their heels in a bit, because they're losing their best, if not the best player they've got. So they're not going to want to lose him, but it's quite clear that Morgan Gibbs White wants to join Tottenham. So I fully expect this transfer to go through. But as has been said from Football.London, there's going to be a delay to this without a doubt, which is sad, because we all thought we're going to be celebrating 2 signings in 2 days. I think we're just going to have to wait a little bit for this. I think it will get there. But as I say, it's never straightforward with Tottenham, is it? Morgan Gibbs White is a player that I've liked for a very long time. I think he's, again, exactly the type of player we need. Fast, attacking, work rate is unbelievable. Exactly what we need on the wing, and he can play through the middle as well. So this kind of fits in, almost going back to what Ange Postecoglou wanted when he was at the club, players that can go move across that front line, and seems like Thomas Frank is going to use that strategy as well. Well, we know he does because of how he used Mbeumo at his time at Brentford. So he is going to love working with Morgan Gibbs White. Let's hope we can get that transfer over the line. It won't be too long before we see him at the club. Another one of Frank's ex-players, Yoanne Wissa, here, and he wants to leave Brentford and would be keen to join Thomas Frank at Spurs. Now, this again would be a huge signing for Tottenham. I see people not getting too excited about Whissa, and I do get that. But look, he's Premier League proven. He scored many goals last season for Brentford, top scorer. So this would be a player that, in my opinion, would be challenging Solanke, not one that would just come in as a backup. We've said it hundreds of times. We want players through the door at Tottenham that is going to absolutely challenge the current people who are in that first team lineup, if you like. So, and when a player comes in, there's no drop off. We've seen so much drop off last season when that first choice 11, if you like, weren't playing. So I think Whissa, if we do get him over the line, he would give us that. Not too sure about this one myself. I'm really not, but let's see how this one progresses. That really in-depth report from the BBC about Spurs, I think that's really good. I won't comment on every single part of that, but it's a really good read. So you can obviously view that on the BBC website if you want to have a look at that. But it's exactly right in saying what we need and how the thinking around the club seems to be changing. Everything, we know there's been big changes at Tottenham behind the scenes, and there's going to continue to be. But it does seem like they've either had an influx of money or know they're getting it. This naming rights deal that people have been speaking of, is that going to go through now? Nvidia, obviously the world's biggest company, I think it is. That would be huge. That would be absolutely huge. What would the stadium be called? The Nvidia Stadium? Not, I've heard worse, to be honest with you. But if that is the case, or is it investment by ENIC? We just don't know. We don't know. Or is it another company perhaps has invested in ENIC? I don't know. I don't know enough about the financials and how they work. But well, it remains to be seen how that's going to play out. But let's see how that goes, because I think something's definitely going on behind the scenes at Spurs, because I think there's definitely been an influx of money somewhere along the line, or something that they know is going on. So we'll see how that one goes. Yves Bissouma wanted by Fenerbahce. I could probably see this one happening. I think it's probably time for Bissouma to move on. Played very well in the final, but too hit and miss for me. We haven't seen enough of the Yves Bissouma, the Brighton Yves Bissouma, if you like. So I'd really want to see Bissouma. I wouldn't be glad to see Bissouma move, to be honest with you. And the same for me goes for Richarlison. But again, let's see how that goes. And Douglas Luiz wants to join Tottenham. Another great player. Real experience again. You would think, I'm not sure about this one. Again, I'm not sure about this one. But Douglas Luiz, I wouldn't be against it. Put it there. I really wouldn't be against it. There was rumours. I did a video earlier in the day about Wharton from Crystal Palace. I think either of them, to be honest. If you give me the choice, I'd want Wharton. But Douglas Luiz, again, that would really mean, or Spurs would be showing that they really mean business in this window. But let's see how that one plays out. Son back in training. Really good to see Sonny back at the club, and hopefully he can have a really good final season with Spurs. How good would it be to see Son lift another trophy and starting with that Super Cup in August? How good would that be? Like buses, you wait for ages, then two come along at once. It's going to be a big ask against PSG though, but how good would that be to start the season off? And Thomas Frank's first competitive game, how good is that? And finally, the new intake of under 18s, really good. Obviously, don't know too much about these lads at the moment, but a couple of chaps in there you would think will be hopefully pushing on and getting the... I've always wanted to see another Harry Kane come through. I've always wanted to see, even though they've gone on now, I love seeing the likes of a Harry Winks and a Oliver Skip, even though they didn't quite make it and they weren't everybody's cup of tea. I do like to see the young players coming through. So this group of 18-year-olds, let's hope that we've got a little gem in there somewhere and somebody that's going to really challenge for a first team position in a few years. Anyway, that's it from me. So get down in the comments, let me know what you think on your thoughts are on all those stories today. Once again, thanks so much for watching and thanks for listening. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, please consider subscribing. Leave a review on the audio and subscribe to those bits as well. It's always good to hear your feedback, and yeah, just let us know how you're feeling right now as a Tottenham fan. And please, if you can, vote for us at the Football Content Awards. The links are all below. Come on, you Spurs.